Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Disney-Pixar's Elio. It isn't looking too good for them. We're talking like possibly a $20 million opening, domestic opening.
It keeps dropping. I did a story earlier on PMP, and they said the range now is 20 to 39. It was 35 to 45 before. So it's still a wide range. But it seems to be leaning towards the lower end, which if it goes under 29.6 million, then it's the worst opening ever for a Pixar film.
Yeah. The worst opening was, of course, Elemental. Now, Elemental, to be fair, it did eventually turn a profit, but it took a long time for it to get there. Once the word of mouth got out that the movie was actually pretty okay, and the international
audience, international saved it. And that's what, and also they didn't have the budget as high as this, because the estimations I've seen is about 300 million. So you're talking like it has to do more than Elemental did in its full run just to break even.
So we're gonna talk about this. This isn't good news for Pixar. Again, they had a huge hit with Inside Out 2. It's also not good news for people who want to see more original animated movies, because the only movies they're performing now are sequels and reboots. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna get more of that. You're gonna get Frozen 17 and Monsters Inc. 35, and that's just the way it's going to be, because it seems like people don't want new stuff, when Pixar actually was fantastic in that regard for years. Every movie they put out was unique. They didn't do sequels very often, and everything was unique, and almost every one of them was like ridiculously good and became a beloved classic. And now, not so much. Wonder what's missing. I wonder who's missing. From Pixar.
I know, right? I know. I was looking at this. It says Elio, the 50 million is worldwide.
Yeah, they're actually saying global. This is coming from Deadline, and they're saying
Collider was saying it wasn't going to do great either.
20 million.
Yeah, I saw that today
domestic.
Too. I saw another place saying they were still saying like 20 or 39, but I was
that's
no.
Optimistic. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Check out badorks.com. This podcast brought to you by badorks.com. We've got orc pins out on BackerKit. Thank you very much for the support. So they're speculating that Disney is actually trying to bury Elio. We haven't seen a whole lot of promotion for this movie.
Well, that's just it. The promotion hasn't been there. A lot of people didn't even know it existed until they went to see Lilo and Stitch and saw the trailer for it there. I can tell you, I was checking the theater near us because we're going to go. I'm taking Pinky Boo tomorrow because she wanted to see it. She said she wants to support new things so that, she wants to see more new things, which I get, but we need more good new things. I'm just going to review it for the channel. I was looking at the ticket sales. In the whole 18 showings over 4 days, there was only 12 seats sold.
12 seats.
12 seats. Now, a lot of people, to be fair, won't buy tickets till they go to the theater. But like when we bought tickets for How to Train Your Dragon, we had to buy them ahead because if you waited, there weren't going to be seats left in the theater.
Yeah.
But this one, I could walk in and get probably the really good seats, and I wouldn't have to pay extra for the online experience of booking them because no one's going.
Yeah, I mean, we know, Lilo and Stitch was packed, How to Train Your Dragon was packed, and again,
Snow White was busier than this.
That's scary, isn't it? Snow White was busier than this one is. Wow,
yeah.
Nobody knows what it is, and look, this style, everybody calls it bean mouth, whatever the look is, the current look for Pixar movies, right? It's the same as the baseball show, Win or Lose, that they did, and it's the same as Turning Red. That people, I think, associate that style with Disney Plus now. Like, it looks like a Disney Plus show.
Well, yeah, and they also had that kind of style. I think, but even Luca a little bit was like this.
Yeah.
And our son was saying, Squicking was saying today, he said, that style, it's just all the movies look the same now. And I think it's also the fact that it's a science fiction one. And the last time they did a science fiction thing with Strange World, it didn't do well either.
Yeah.
I think, critics are saying it's not bad. A lot of people are saying it's also boring. It plays it too safe. But two things can exist at once. It could be good. We don't know yet. But that doesn't mean people want to see it because what you're giving them, they're not interested in. People aren't engaged in this. They didn't know it even existed. A lot of people don't even care about it.
Yeah. And I mean, this movie, they're talking about, and this is coming from Collider, they're talking about the Rocky production, $300 million to try to fix it. They had to trade directors. They rewrote a lot of the plot. I mean, look, this happens, but it's really weird. I did a video yesterday talking about James Gunn, and he was coming out and saying one of the biggest problems now with Hollywood in general is that they don't have the script locked down before they start production on the movies. And so then that leads to a lot of reshoots and, you know, creative differences and all this stuff. And, you know, I have to wonder if they had this thing completely locked down before they went into production, like, would it have been a different deal, right?
Well, I know halfway through they changed that lot of stuff. I know that it was America Ferrera, and then they made it Zoe Saldana, and then I think a lot of it was still the same, but there were changes. They had a lot of teams changed in the middle. A lot of people worked on the movie, changed in the middle of it. Oh yeah, the Hoppers one. I don't know if that one looks very good either.
I don't think that's gonna do
with
good.
the girl that changes brains with the beaver. I don't think it's gonna do well either. You guys are just you aren't doing the right things.
Just take a step back, right? And like almost all the classic Pixar movies, at least the story is that they all came out during a lunch meeting, that they had all these ideas for these different movies. And it took them, 20 years to make all the movies, but all the movies, WALL-E and Finding Nemo and Toy Story and Incredibles, all that stuff came out in like one meeting. They're like, here's kind of all these movies we want to make. And eventually we'll get there. And most of those are classics, right? Who sat down and what were they eating when they're like, okay, let's do a movie about a girl who switches her brain with a beaver?
I don't know.
I mean, what the hell? This sounds like, this is like some like Illumination. You're actually kind of insulting Illumination.
It might, I don't know. It might do better than this though, because space stuff just does not do well. Like I love WALL-E, and WALL-E's a cult classic, but WALL-E didn't do that great either, I don't think, when it came out. Better than this, but I'm just saying it didn't, adjusted for inflation, I don't think it did that great either.
It is really weird. Like when it comes to like kids entertainment, space stuff doesn't do very well. And even going back, to the 90s, early 2000s, Treasure Planet didn't do very well. Even though those designs were very, very good. But
yeah, I know. It just happened with somebody else's stuff we know. Yeah.
It did do very well. And a lot of these, I'm thinking like Titan AE, now that's not Disney, but like still a lot of like science fiction, I don't think does that well as animation. It does well as live action. Like if this were a live act, well, even why would you make a live action movie about a kid and a bunch of goofy ass
I don't know.
CGI? It's like, I don't know.
Even if it's good, and it might be, I don't know yet. I'm hearing a lot of mixed things, to be honest with you. Doesn't mean people want to see it. Something can be objectively, good. I'm not saying this one is, but it could be objectively good, and people have no interest in it because this doesn't resonate with people. And I think that's what happened here. Just people don't care about this one. It is what it is. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it. And people are mad now because like, well, you need to go because you need to go see it so we can, promote original animation. And I agree we need more original animation.
Yes.
And original ideas. I think the sequels are going to be overdone. That being said, provide something people want to see.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like you're picking the wrong things to bet the farm on. And that's what Iger was saying is that, Pixar is going to do like for every 3 sequels, they'll give one new property a chance. But I'm like, it's just the way they're looking at it. Cause Lasseter and company, they were looking at stories. They're like, these are stories that resonate with people on a universal level. And they had all these stories they wanted to tell. And it just so happened that, the early stories they told made a lot of money because a lot of people liked them and Disney acquired them. But now it feels like they're just another spoke in the corporate wheel. Crank out sequels. And Walt would have hated this.
What was the last thing that did well from Pixar or Walt Disney Animation that was original? Was it Encanto? Because like Wish didn't do crap. People like Coco and Encanto, they like that family, and just the story relates to family. And not saying this one doesn't relate to family, because I like the idea of feeling like you don't belong and being the outsider, because I know that feeling. I think a lot of people understand that feeling. And I get that. But I just don't think that this is necessarily the right way to tell that story to get across. I just don't know how it's going to go. It just doesn't seem, I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. It just doesn't seem as interesting as other Pixar things. Okay, Coco seemed way more interesting than this. Inside Out seemed way more interesting than this. That kind of stuff. It just doesn't seem...
The hook. Yeah, there's always a hook with the Pixar movies. And this one's like, I feel like we've seen this before with Home. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've seen it, with even... I'm thinking like, Star Wars, recently, it feels like what was it called with the kids?
A Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Thank you. But totally blank because I don't give a shit. But Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I mean, just like kids in space, kid adventure in space doesn't seem like it's really, or if you're gonna do it, you do it on Disney Plus. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really feel Pixar to me. It looks more to me like an Illumination or a DreamWorks thing. And I've heard it's boring as hell. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but the early reviews I've heard is it's boring. And it's not like Pixar levels of greatness. And the last like really great Pixar movie, some people are saying Soul was pretty amazing. Other than sequels, right?
Right.
But most of those got punted to Disney Plus during the pandemic. And that might have actually been what really broke people of the habit of going to see every Pixar movie. They're like, oh yeah, I can just wait for Disney Plus.
Well, that's what I think. That's exactly what happened. I mean, I think Elemental, people said was pretty good too, but I didn't watch Elemental or Soul because I don't give it. That's what gets me. I used to watch everyone. Like, you don't understand. I'd be at the theater opening day. I'd watch everyone. Same with Star Wars, same with Marvel, all this stuff. And now I just don't have enough give a crap other than to go see this because I'm reviewing it. The only reason I'm going to see Elio is because I'm reviewing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even waste my time. Our daughter wants to see it as well, but she doesn't even want to see it because she thinks it looks good. She wants to see it because she wants to promote original ideas, which I respect because we do need more original ideas. Just people are over it, like Elemental. And the reason it did okay was because they left in the theaters all summer and it picked up overseas. But everybody was just going to wait for Disney Plus.
I think too, anymore people were like, you're going to have to prove to me that this is a quality movie. You're going to have to prove to me that it's not quote unquote woke. You're going to have to prove to me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they wait for word of mouth. They wait for their friends or family to go see it first. And look,
and that's why Elemental picked up. It's because people went to see it and they said it was good, and that's why it picked up.
Yes. And that's what carried it. But, you look at some of the other Pixar movies they've tried and just the word of mouth was not that great, or it was dead on arrival. I mean, Lightyear, everybody's like, it's because of the gay kiss. And maybe for some people that was it, but it wasn't a Toy Story movie. It was not the Buzz Lightyear we knew from Toy Story. That should have been Money in the Bank. A Buzz Lightyear prequel should have been
if you had
$1 billion movie.
If it had been Buzz Lightyear. Actual Buzz Lightyear and whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, and Tim Allen and, just take the Buzz Lightyear Star Command. I don't know what the hell they were doing or what they were thinking, and that's what people want. But it is very concerning that Disney now is just all live action remakes and sequels, but they're playing it safe. And yeah, there are going to be people that are going to be, trying to guilt you and they go on like, you need to go see this movie, even if it's terrible, because if you don't go see it, they're just going to make more shit. And I'm like, well, people didn't go see Home on the Range back in the day and they got their act together.
Well, that's true. That's true. There was a bunch. It feels like repeating that, early 2000s all over again. It was late 1990s and early 2000s all over again, where there's a bunch of movies that just didn't perform. And some of them are good, like Treasure Planet or Atlantis.
Meet the Robinsons was
Meet the Robinsons is great, but it did shit the box office.
Chicken Little, shit the box office.
It's okay, but it wasn't great. Yeah, the Home on the Range.
Science fiction.
Yeah.
There were science fiction movies.
Kind of. Science fiction does not seem to go when it comes to Disney Pixar.
Kid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to go for that. And I don't know what to tell you, but I also think now you have that working against you, and then you've trained everyone to wait for Disney Plus. And I'm not talking about just Pixar, even though that was your first, the first fodder for Disney Plus, but you've trained people to wait in general across the board because none of your stuff is that, I have to pay all this money to go to theater to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I don't know if the movie's good or bad.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
You're going to go see it. All I'm saying is that there are a lot of reasons why this doesn't work. And if this one flops, and it does feel like it's being set up to fail, this is the same with, Strange World. And there was a definite lack of promotion because I think they know, hey, we already blew $300 million on this movie. We know it's never going to earn its money back. Let's not throw another 100 million into, just run it in the theater, take our lumps, dump it on Disney Plus.
They should have done that before they spent a bunch more money on it to redo parts of it. They should just put on Disney Plus then when the budget was like 150 or something like that. 300 million for this is insane.
Yeah,
I don't people behind Turning Red now. So, I mean, I like Turning Red. Turning Red's a cute little movie. Would I pay to go to the theater to see it? No. I'm not going to lie to you. Would I watch it again? Yes. I mean, I felt very seen. You girl that, turns into a red panda when angry and then brushes hair to calm down. I mean, come on. I'm the target demo for that. But it's just, would it be when I tell people to go to the theater and pay for? No.
No. And there's a definite difference in, gosh, I don't even know how to put my finger on it.
That's why I don't know how to word it either.
It feels like current Pixar, like they were quirky stories, but they were still theater worthy experiences. Like you need to see this on the big screen to really take it in or whatever. I mean, even Wall-E, down to the cinematography and the graphics for the time, and Toy Story was groundbreaking, and now it's just like it feels like this is a smaller story that it almost feels like, I don't know how to explain it, like a YA graphic novel or something. Like this should have been, I don't know. But there are so many YA graphic novels, which I don't understand this whole thing. I'm going to go off on a side tangent. Lots of YA graphic novels about adventures in space, and it feels to me like kids don't care about adventures in space anymore.
Like when we were kids, we did. But I don't think
Star
today,
Wars, Star Trek,
and then the space program and everything else.
Yeah, NASA and all
space
that.
Camp, all that stuff. When we were kids, space was like, fascinating. I think
space
it was in the 60s to like the 80s. It was like, space. I think that kids today, that's not as fascinating to them. It's like this, like, okay.
Well, space is racist because of Elon Musk. So
that's right.
Outer space thing.
You're probably better to go with a water theme, even though Luca didn't do great. And you probably
Luca didn't do good either. Yeah, and I mean,
TikTok the movie, and there you go.
And again, that's not saying these are bad movies, and people keep conflating
two things can exist at once. Yeah,
it could be a very good movie that did not attract an audience that was willing to go to a theater to see it, but it could become honestly, it could become a beloved cult classic in years to come.
It could also just suck.
Or it could just suck. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, it can't do any worse than what was the Ruby Gillman or whatever that they did?
Oh, yeah.
DreamWorks, and that was like $8 million.
Kraken.
Teenage Kraken. But people said it was actually pretty good, but it wasn't a theater-worthy experience. Right? So, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Flop incoming. There's no way to avoid it, I don't think.
Yeah, whether it's good or not, I'll let you know. But it's going to have to make, like, if it's $300 million budget, it has to make at least $650 million back to break even. I think it might not need as much because I don't think they put the promotion behind it like they did on other ones, because they knew it was like throwing good money after bad. So at least those $600 million. And I don't think it's going to do that.
Yeah, I don't see how there's any way for it to. And plus, we've got so many other movies coming out this summer. I mean, it's packed. We got Superman, Fantastic Four. I know some other animated movies coming out. I can't, my mind is a blank at this point, but there's a ton of movies coming out this summer. Plus they have to compete with the movies that have already come out. So if families are going to make one trip to the theater this month, they're probably going to go see Lilo and Stitch or How to Train Your Dragon and not Elio, because they know they like those things.
There's a lot of other things coming out on streaming too. Like, isn't that the K-pop one coming out like this week? And then which looks fun actually. And then there's more Dan to Dance coming like soon and stuff like that.
Don't take your kids to Elio, sit them down in front of Dan to Dance.
Don't put your kids on Dan to Dance. I'm just saying that audience is going to probably show up for this. I think aren't even kids. I think it's a lot of the younger people, like a lot of Gen Zs are like really pushing for this, which our daughter's one of those. And I think they're the ones that are going to show up for it. I don't think it's even going to be young kids, some with families, but I think the majority of the audience, like with How to Train Your Dragon, it's going to skew like, into the early 20s. Yeah, 20s, even up into like early 30s or whatever. I think this one's going to do that too. But so what I'm saying, the Dan to Dan, I'm meaning into that audience, not children. Do not show children Dan to Dan. Do not show children Dan to Dan. But anyway,
all right. Are we going to wrap this one up?
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Again, check out badorks.com. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.